AC. You're number one.
I know, that's what ace means.
I know. So fucking ironic.
Let me turn that off. I got this little bitty space heater going. Oh, I love it. I love having just, I don't like running the heater in the house. Are we live? Oh no.
Yeah.
What's up, Candy?
Hey.
Nice. People can't see my Illuminati hand signs.
Don't do that. Where's everybody else?
What up?
Yo. What it does. What it does.
Ace, you replied to a comment. What did you say?
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I skipped there too. Yeah, that shit was so funny. Yo, I don't know who saw this and who didn't, but I'm fitting a screen share, and all y'all have to see this. This shit is so fucking funny. Hold on.
Okay.
No, you already saw it because you commented on it and said you skipped to that point. Well, so did I. Because I was like, what was at that point? All right, hold on. Oh, shit. Who's doing that?
What the hell?
It must be Dan. Gotta be Dan. Nobody else would do that but Dan.
Dan, dude. Dan's broadcasting from freaking Hades.
Oh, I told you it was Dan.
What? No, that was me.
Dan broadcasting live from Mars with Elvis and Michael Jackson.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, ODD's quiet again, you guys. He's
You
quiet.
can't hear him. He's on Mars, yo.
Yeah, again.
Nah, ODD's on Devon Island, man. The fuck's wrong with y'all? Mars and shit. Mars. There's such a thing as Mars is Devon Island. ODD and Jeranism told me so.
You're down with
All
ODD? Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, you know me.
Have you ever heard that one before? You down with ODD? Yeah, you know me.
Of course we did. Duh. All right, y'all ready for this? Check this out. Hold on. Let me gizzo back. All right, check it.
Down,
Stop.
down.
I'm sharing the link.
All right, y'all can see my screen, right?
I'm a monster, yeah.
Check it out. Even IPS laughed at this, okay?
Just slow in general.
I hate when your post is submitted pending approval.
Who's that nerd? You talking about like Russian vids?
No, I'm talking about on Facebook, like in a Facebook group. Oh, whoops, this is the wrong.
The thumbs up.
It's the wrong group anyway.
All right, listening.
I don't know who's in here. Wait, too far.
What is this?
Wah, wah.
Yeah, rewind it. Hold on.
Spheres are racist.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, dude. Right. I showed you.
It's freaking hilarious.
No live loops.
Yeah.
They're broadcasting
The Mandela
live.
effect.
They're broadcasting the loop shit live. That's how they get away with that shit too. It's a live recording.
Well, there's to the people in the chat who was asking where Sulu was.
He's probably like watching one of the various 6 or 7 shows in a row. It's live right now.
Yeah, really.
I got time for that.
It's like happy hour started early for Rob. Somebody said totally agree. Oh, because he totally agrees with you. He said you're taking the words right out of his mouth.
Will tell you the truth, and a 40 will tell you what you want to hear. But no grouper. No groupers control numbers. didn't know that, did you? How did you know?
I don't understand what's going on here.
Just watch.
I am control operations from the globe.
Who is that?
That's Rob. Just hold on. Listen right here.
And it's watching me.
It's coming.
Oh my God.
Did the thumbs up. I was just
Listen to what IPS says.
I thought you were watching Issa.
I was rushing in. I told you, this is everybody's live right now.
What's the IPS talking about?
Spheres are racist. That was, you can find a lot of websites.
Is that what happened right when you turned it to his channel or something? Dude, damn, that's pretty funny.
What do you say? What's racist?
Spears.
Here's a racist.
Fear.
Wait, keep listening.
Fear.
He about to shout out to Eric Debay. Watch.
Spheres are racist. Oh,
Wait, listen.
great timing.
Listen.
Put a clan hood on that thing. Put a clan hood on the globe and put it on a meme and say, hey, this thing's the real racist gotta be.
Can't listen with you fucking giggling.
Where bitches put a fucking clan hood on the globe. Put that shit on the sign. You can't get to the town square.
Yo,
No, listen. He about to shout out Eric Debay. Watch.
Oh, man.
He's done it a million times before, Candy. This is nothing
No.
new. Good grief.
Listen.
No, I'm gonna add some to the trash.
Listen. You hear that? You hear that?
Not really.
Starts at Hitler peeps.
I didn't mean to trigger the Hitler peeps.
Yeah. That shit was funny. I'm sorry.
Oh boy, those are like your stories, long-winded with no point. Oh, but boots! Oh, shit, that was a good one. I had to.
Oh, you're so fucking funny.
I tell you what, Dan, sometimes you're like a cigarette in someone's hand in a club that you just touch your finger on. Hey, Candy, Rosa cool.
But then I'm looking.
Oh,
at
I thought I paused this. Hold on.
He's live right now.
Sorry.
They only have 2,000 people watching.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, Candy. You know I love you.
I was just...
I know. If it wasn't for anybody else but you, I'd be punching my fucking computer.
From mainstream religion, for whatever way,
Whoa, sorry.
from mainstream religion,
Oh, now it's Antonio.
whatever their reason is.
Sorry, I hit the play on Dan's radio show.
I'm so proud of Dan.
Yeah. Hey, where's the watch page?
If you'd have been up last night watching it, you'd have known that, Antonio.
I'm in your channel. Oh wait,
Watching live. Where were you?
The host invited me tonight to the round table. I go, that's funny that you call it the round table.
I was watching, by the way. I was painting, but I was also listening. I came in, I saw you cleaning the toilet floor.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
It's the Jeremy Kyle show.
Yeah.
Yo, Candy, could you post the link so I can check out the chat?
Yes.
And can you hand me over controls so I can turn off?
Absolutely. I meant to do that when Vinny left, but I didn't even realize he left.
Yeah, cool. I want to turn ODD's mic up.
It's
So,
up all the way, babe. It's up all
So
the way.
how long is Payday Monsanto going to be in Colorado, ODD?
Do I still sound low?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
And you're
I'm
up
trying
all
to
the
use-
way.
Is this not working? This mic
Oh,
right
that's
here?
been much better right there.
Well, I don't want
Right.
to do that.
No, that's good.
No. All right. So anyway,
Nah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I think you guys can hear me.
So how long is
Payday? He
Yeah, we can
he
hear
didn't
you.
give me a specific time that he was going to be in town for, but I'm hoping he's going to stay out here for a while. I want to shoot a couple music videos with him.
Yeah, man. I'd love to see that.
No, you're gonna see that.
Yup.
Like, you know who else is in Colorado Springs?
Who? Jay
My
Dreamers.
dude Jay. Yep.
Sunny Peaches is in Colorado too.
I love her. She was supposed to. Oh my God, y'all! I'm a terrible person.
You forgot her? She's been waiting patiently.
But be a selfish person, Candy. I'm just kidding.
She'll have it on her calendar and everything.
She's like one of my favorite people ever. Like,
So send
I
her a
like her
link.
more than I like ODD. Sorry, only because she reminds me of me.
Oh shit!
She reminds me of you, but without all the experiences. Huh? Huh?
So that means I'm smarter, more mature.
Yeah. Yeah, pass her a
You're
link.
more you.
Pass her a link, girl. Hey, ODD. So, I don't know if you're going to be involved in the next balloon launching, but somebody, actually, a whole bunch of people have been saying, guys, can you not arrange for 3 balloons to go up at the same time from a distance? So you can.
No, we
all
should
three?
have one. We should have 4. 4 of them. One in the United States, one in China, one up north, like way up by,
Yeah,
like.
but for the next step, because like to organize something with China is like that's a huge deal. But
South of Sun tracking.
yeah, but within the state of Colorado, it's a big place. You know, if you set balloons up, and each balloon can see the sun at the same point, there's no you can triangulate the sun.
I'm doing one on August 21st for sure.
I mean, can you
That's
make it
the
August
solar
28th?
eclipse. No, I'm doing one on the
Not too
solar
bad.
eclipse.
August 27th, a day early.
What are you doing on the solar eclipse?
A
Really?
balloon. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I want to
such a good
film
idea.
the solar eclipse, and I'm going to be right by it. So I'm going to go up to Wyoming.
Yes, I'm going to be
Wait.
in the path of totality too, and I got like a solar filter, and I got a zoom lens, and I got all this cool stuff, so I can go like film it. What?
Do you have a P900?
No.
Do you know how many Globelings have taken me up on my bet?
None.
Yeah. 0.
9?
0. No
Oh,
slice back. Okay,
I'm debating whether or not we're going to see shit, because I actually looked for amateur footage of fucking solar eclipses and I didn't find any. Isn't that weird?
I did.
Shouldn't-
I found videos.
Did you?
That is
Yeah, I
weird.
You found people's like home videos
Yes,
of
I did. I did.
I'm gonna record it, and I'm gonna put it on my
Okay,
channel
cool.
when it's done. Hopefully,
Yeah,
Nice.
I have some from.
hopefully it'll come out okay.
It will.
Is that
it will.
just something harder to find? I mean, did I just not look very well?
That's
There's
where I
just
found
not that
mine.
money.
I don't know if a lot of people, bother trying to do it. Like photographers will do it. People who are into photography, and I wasn't even really into photography until I got into flat Earth,
Be right
and then I
back,
was
yeah.
like, I want to take
Yeah.
zoom pictures of the moon and whatever else,
A lot of the ones I was finding, these total eclipses, they weren't happening. That's the weird part. Like, there's people all waiting around, and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where you see
There's
just
several of them like that. Yeah.
Really, that's weird.
And these are the top searches. It's not
I've
like
got-
it's...
Ace,
Yeah.
I've got a video. I've got a video from the eclipse that happened in South America, with I think 3 or 4 different amateur videos.
When was this?
Just a couple of months ago.
Recent? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, a few. There's the famous footage of them all sat there in some big kind of park kind of place, like a promenade. But the eclipse is happening, and there's no extra shadows. Everybody's still in sunlight. But then I found some from individuals that were not there at various different areas in the south, in the south of South America, and one from Brazil. And every single one of them negated what time and date says.
You mean,
That's
but you're
weird.
talking about just like the position of it, right? Like from what angle the moon comes into
Yes.
occult the sun, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what time and date say they do is this. There's the horizon, and they do this. Okay. Well, the horizon stays there anyway. The horizon doesn't start there, and as you move upwards, that's not what happens. And where the people are capturing the sun, they're tracking it. There's no shifting. It's just nonsense, because they're running their eclipse prediction from Celestia, which is based on a globe. And the globe says we move like this, and the sun does this, and the moon does this. But the real world doesn't do that. You know, the real world, you have the sun approaching the moon and overtake the moon.
Yeah.
That's all it does. So
I just noticed.
Yeah.
Daphne, what's her name? Daphne Remel.
Who?
She's a flat Earth. This flat Earth chick.
Daphne Rimmel. Can you pass me controls? I can turn up some volumes because it's really low.
I just noticed that her last video was uploaded 12 hours ago, and she's in a 2-hour interview with Sunny Peaches.
So that's why Sunny Peaches isn't here.
Well, it's already been uploaded. I just texted her to see if she wants to come.
Well, you said 12
Well, that
hours
sounded
ago,
like-
right?
How,
Well, then that's
How long
got
ago?
nothing to do with now.
No,
Come
no, I know.
on.
I'm just letting you know that she just made a video. I don't know.
were you going to say Bigfoot?
Was I going to say Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Littlefoot?
I don't
Hey,
use the term
Karen.
Bigfoot. I use the term
Karen,
forest people.
Karen, have you shown Ace the photos?
I don't think so. Ask him if he's seen it. I don't think so. I think I showed that it was private. It was a private hangout.
Oh, should I not have mentioned anything? You know that I don't work like that.
Well,
Anyway,
I'm
so-
going to make a video. I'm going to make a video about it.
Oh, my bad.
I already spoiled my asteroid surprise. I can't spoil every surprise I've got.
What asteroid?
I
don't know. I don't know anything about an asteroid.
I keep trying to make all these videos, and then I end up spilling the beans on the hangout.
Yeah, don't do it anymore. But don't worry. Antonio's not listening or watching. He's always taking a siesta.
Oh, thank you.
And then I think, oh, nobody saw
take
it.
one.
And then I'll be in another hangout, and someone will be all, hey, Karen, I saw your asteroids. That was funny. And I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have shown the asteroids.
Huh. I'm going to ask Vincent later, aren't I?
I ask Vincent what?
About the asteroids.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't know anything about the asteroids.
My microphone is not
Have
working,
that
I hope.
on the
You're
panel.
lying because I
Ever
hear you.
seen that?
Huh? Has anyone what?
Vinny said his microphone's not working, but I said he's lying because I hear him.
Yeah.
Damn.
Huh?
Well, anyway,
I'm not here. Let it go.
yeah.
Has anyone on the panel seen asteroids or meteorites themselves before I get interrupted for the 17th time?
Oh, meteor showers, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I've seen shit falling like
Check this out.
sparks
That
from the
reminds me
sky.
of a dream I just had. I had another weird flat Earth dream.
Karen,
What?
you know how the elevation differences between Asheville and here where I am at?
What about it?
It's so bad that I was cussing the whole fucking way there and the whole fucking way back because my ears were like, ah!
Yeah.
Like, ask ODD. I was on the phone with him and I was like, yo, I feel like I'm yelling at you like I can't fucking hear.
I just drove to Asheville like a week ago because I went and saw Ween over there in Asheville.
You took 26, 74 to 20. I took 74 to 26.
I took 85 to 26 to Asheville.
Okay, well, on the way back, I take 26 to 85, but on the way there, I take 85 to 74 to 26. Because I always pass up that 74 exit, so I end up having to go to 85. That's the only reason why. But the whole way there and back, I'm like, oh, fuck. Dying. Like, literally dying. It fucking sucks. Okay, so why is it that if I'm so, like, you know, I'm from Baton Rouge, so, like, we way below sea level down there. And then I move up here to North Carolina, so I go from here to here, okay? The elevation
it's very hilly here.
6 months, me and my kids were tortured by elevation pressure in our ears and shit. Felt like we were on an airplane 6 months straight. My mom was like, y'all crazy, telling my kids, y'all need to stop that. Y'all been here long enough. I'm like, yo, you just don't know. Like, it's happening to me too. Sucks, right? So if I'm here, where I'm at now, and then I go here to Asheville, right? We're here to Shelby, then here to Asheville. Why is it this much distance? And this is on a little scale compared to the huge scale that I actually took. You know, this is like the legend on the map right here.
Right.
Why the fuck can't I get cell phone service up there? But yet I'm like 1,700 fucking feet closer to the fucking satellites in the sky. Yet I can't get a lick of service all day. Please explain this to me.
I don't know. Do you have AT&T? Because I have AT&T. And when I went to Asheville, my signal went to shit.
But it doesn't matter. But my point is this, Karen. No matter what service you have, you're higher in elevation. So that means you're closer to the satellites.
Yeah, but they don't work on satellites, so.
Yeah, but they talk to the tower, and the tower supposedly talks to the satellite or some shit like that. I don't know.
Right.
Towers are
So
blocked by mountains.
I should have a better signal up there.
The towers are blocked by mountains.
Yeah, that's what happens with elevation. Because
I should have a better signal. I should be like blazing up there, like, yo, I'm high speeding this bitch. Like,
I'm sure there's math.
But the signal comes out sideways, like horizontally, but drops down pretty quickly.
oh, really? Which side of the ball, Antonio? Which fucking side of the ball?
No, I'm talking about on the repeater towers. Come out from the towers sideways, but it gets pulled down by the ether. The microwaves get pulled down. No.
They never prove the ether. That's a myth.
Right. It's just as true as
relativity.
It's Bigfoot, something you can't quite see, but there's evidence of it.
I would believe. Look, yo, I would tell you and believe it, even if it wasn't true, that Bigfoot was standing at the front door right now. But before I believe gravity exists, I believe Bigfoot on the side of that door.
You know, I thought you just pulled a pantyhose over your head, like with both your hands, like you're about to rob a store or something. When you were talking, Candy. I was like, what the fuck?
I'm dead ass, so I would believe.
Talk about some asteroids here, please. Jesus,
Asteroid.
tap dancing crap. Yeah, I'd like to talk about asteroids rather than pantyhose. Another perverted joke.
I had a dream that I saw a crazy asteroid the other night. Remember, Antonio, we were talking about flat Earth dreams. Like I had one. I had a dream that I saw this big flaming, like, thing just coming through the air. It was like a big flaming ball. It was like flaming and smoking. I was just.
Were you scared?
No, it was just like, it was just, I dreamt like I was in my house and I looked out the window. I was like, oh shit, look at that. And it was just like, it was like really close.
Huh. I love flat Earth dreams. Have you guys had
very vivid too?
So has anybody else here had dreams that were specifically flat Earth?
Well, I told you I had the dream about the North Pole.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
And
you
about
already had mine.
the first one I had was the South Pole with my father, who passed away. You know, and it was don't want to go into it now, really, but it was just twilighty, and there were people there, freaky ass people, not humans, okay, but freaky on purpose. And it's like, dude, let's get out of here. So we get out. We're on a biplane. We've landed. We followed a channel through the ice. We've flown over a channel. When it opens up in a delta on the other side of the Arctic Circle, the Antarctic Circle, we decide to land. We land, and yeah. So,
I usually
have you ever seen?
Sorry, I was going to say I usually don't remember my dreams at all anymore. When I was younger, I would remember my dreams, and the ones that I remember the most, I would like be flying. And one thing that I do remember in like the dreams when I was flying, that the Earth was stationary, so that's interesting. But now, like if I do remember dreams, they're either like really, really like complex and beautiful, or really, really complex and sort of like terrifying. It's either one or the other. But I probably remember like 1 or 2 dreams every year. It's like that. That's how frequently I remember my dreams.
Wow.
Man, I was about to say, I got a question for ODD and I got a question for the Morgile.
Well,
Oh,
just
did he
ask Morgile first.
ODD bounced. I don't think he bounced. I think he got kicked out. Uh-oh.
Kicked out?
I
Not
think he
kicked
just
out.
left, 'cause
You know
he
the cell phone thing?
So I can tell that they've seen long-range asteroids and meteorites. There's 2 types of asteroids and meteorites. You have the long-range one at night, those things that go phew, shooting stars.
Yeah.
I just did a Bill Nye impression. But then you also have the close range asteroids and meteorites, the ones that are in the sky in the daytime, and they fucking zoom by, and they're on fire, and they're blue or green or orange or red.
Have you seen the peanut asteroid?
So there's the short.
Have y'all seen these though in the sky?
I did see that peanut.
Yes, I have. That's why I'm trying to talk about it.
Okay.
You want to talk about the peanut asteroid?
I saw Hail Bob.
Fucking drink.
I don't know do any of you guys remember Hail Bob?
Yes, the crazy comet that made the people kill themselves.
No, I don't know if it was the Golden Gate people or the.
Yeah, they like had to wear Nikes or some shit.
Yeah.
But that it stayed for days on end. I don't know even if it was weeks, but yeah, I remember seeing that one, and that was unexpected. You know, there was no prediction about that. So, and they said, oh, it will come back in maybe another 2,000 years. Oh, right, okay. So, in other words, you have no idea.
All the asteroids are bullshit. If you look into them, they say, you know, somebody sent me a stupid article about why we should explore space, and it was talking about asteroids, like, oh, to protect us from asteroids. And then you read about it, and they're like, we may or may not be able to predict them, and we may or may not be able to get them in time. You never know. One could crash and destroy Earth at any moment, and it could be too late. It's like, oh, give me a break.
Yeah. You might as well start timing us now, so we can, you know, defend against one if we can predict it. Or maybe we can pursue one.
You know, we're going to strap Bruce Willis to a rocket, and he's going to go save us from the asteroid.
No. Bruce Willis, listen to this. You want to hear something real funny?
What?
All the years that you can ever remember this place ever being there, and years you can't even remember. All the years they've said it's been here, what, 5 million, billion years, whatever, 5 billion years, 3 billion years, what the fuck, since the dinosaurs been here, however many astronomical numbers they can come up with. Guess what? All that time we've been hurtling 66.6 thousand miles around the fucking sun, spinning at 1,035 miles an hour, and you ain't felt none of that shit.
Not spinning. We're not spinning.
No, ODD, we fucking are spinning at 1,035 miles an hour. What's wrong with you? Don't you listen to NASA and what they
45 miles per hour.
45?
1,045 miles per hour.
Oh, my bad. I was incorrect by 6 miles.
I thought it was 137 and a half.
I thought it was 1,037.
Yeah, it's definitely 137 and a half.
I thought it was 0.
I thought it was
What
23.
about the Arctic Circle?
That's
I
only,
thought
that's
it was
only at the
33.
that's only at
How
the
many-
equator.
How many kilometers an hour is that?
Fuck no. Let me get my. Wait, In technology class, we had to learn the railroad technique and how to convert. In college, like, yeah, nobody took technology class in here. Like, what?
No.
Okay,
That
never
sounds
mind.
like a 1980s class. Like,
Fuck you, it was last
technology in general, like robots in the future.
Whatever.
No,
You don't
let's
know
hear
the
about it.
railroad method in conversion, like how you convert.
Hey, Morgile, what's
I
your
don't
theory
know. I
about
don't think I do.
asteroids? You explain it better. I don't want to try to repeat it since you're here. You say it.
Oh,
I
well,
heard
I've
you
got
explaining, what's it called? The Halley Comet orbit.
Haley.
I was laughing. Yeah. I was laughing my head off because I've been doing the same thing to my global friends, explaining its orbit around the sun. It's like, okay, you explain it. How is it zooming off ahead in space to loop back round in 76 years or whatever? It's absurd.
right. Yeah.
I know how.
Well, and yeah, the object. Yeah, the object is supposedly like nothing compared to Pluto, but Halley's Comet supposedly goes like almost like 90% of the distance to Pluto at its aphelion or whatever. And frankly, it should just escape the solar system. It doesn't have the mass. Like Pluto is like 1.5 billion cubic miles. It's huge and massive. It's like 2 grams per cubic centimeter. Where Halley's Comet, and this is all heliocentric, numbers, of course, but
Yes.
Halley's Comet is something like 150 cubic miles, and it's like less than a gram per cubic centimeter, and yet somehow it has the gravity necessary to swing it back around towards the sun when it's like 3.3 billion miles away from the sun, allegedly. And then when it does come back to the sun, it doesn't just slam right into it. No, it goes around the front of the sun in order to put itself on the perfect trajectory to make another 75 or 76 year loops, respectively. It switches. And the whole thing about Halley's Comet is we don't have to explain it in the flat Earth model. We can just show that by the theory of gravity alone, the phenomenon of Halley's Comet and their explanation of it simply doesn't work. The physics doesn't pan out at all because the mass of Halley, the density and mass of Halley is not sufficient to fall back towards the sun at that distance and velocity. And
its velocity can't drop as it's getting further away. What would be causing its velocity to
I have the answer.
drop? Go on.
Because NASA is the world's largest magic show.
That's what it is.
Right.
That's ODD lyrics.
Deep inside the rabbit hole.
Bloopers will say, well, Halley's it keeps the velocity of the sun, but that's horseshit because over 75 years the sun is traveling around a parabolic curve around the galactic center, allegedly, and the little Halley's Comet nor the planet Pluto either would have that gravitational relationship with the center of the galaxy, not even theoretically. Only the sun would, because the sun is the only object massive enough to reciprocate the gravitational force of the center of the galaxy.
I never get anybody to answer me on that.
Yeah, the whole thing just falls apart when you really sort of scrutinize it. But people have just accepted it because they've got all of this theory to make the whole thing work. But when you scrutinize the theory, it really falls apart. It makes absolutely no sense logically.
But
Defies all
what are
logic.
the meteor? What is it you say that the meteors and the meteors are not necessarily asteroids, because asteroids don't come into the atmosphere, but the meteors.
Right. Okay. So, it's just a theory, but we have, in terms of water, water will evaporate and then condense or condensate, and then it'll precipitate in the form of rain or hail or whatever. And I just don't see why something like that couldn't be possible with lighter gases like hydrogen or helium, because we already know that hydrogen and helium finds its place of equilibrium way, way, way above the troposphere. And I could just see conditions where such gases would be not only ionized potentially, so they'd like have an electric charge, but they could also, you know, sort of condense and eventually precipitate. And if they were to precipitate in the form of like solid hail, then something like hydrogen or helium passing through oxygen and you know the different sort of chemicals and gases in the troposphere, you know, it would sort of go up like a matchstick theoretically. And I think that that's where you get there's lots of ancient references to something called fire and brimstone, which is often, you know, people think of that as sort of like fairy tale stuff.
Yeah.
But there's actually accounts of it. What it is ice that falls from the sky, but there's like fire in the ice, or like fire and ice falling from the sky, like in the same thing. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I've thought that perhaps meteor showers are the precipitation of you know, higher density gases that have condensed and precipitated in the whatever stratosphere, or wherever the hell it is they say that hydrogen and helium tend to find their place of rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
that kind of makes sense though, because then that kind of could also go along with how they're able to explain when they happen, predict when they happen, if the precipitation happens at a regular rate. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, or they could detect, you know, something like Doppler radar, but focused at a different frequency up at a different level. I'm sure that they could detect clouds of this stuff forming and condensing, and that way they would know exactly when and where it would be visible. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Do you think that NASA or any of the governmental agencies around the world know the details of the flat Earth? Like, know it's the whole scope?
I think at the top levels they do, but I think most people just, it never occurs to them. Like even when like they see high altitude weather balloon footage, it just, without a fisheye lens, it just doesn't occur to people until they're presented with it as a viable option of something that they really need to study. It really is one of those things where perception is reality, and we're all sort of walking around with blinders on. And these blinders are formed by many, many years of education and indoctrination. That's not just in the classroom. I mean, like I said, it's reinforced by popular culture and, you know, science fiction and science and theoretical physics and alliance, all that good stuff. It's a lifelong, never-ending indoctrination program, and people just simply, you know, follow along with it, and they will not be led astray from it. If you challenge or even question the fundamentals of that paradigm, then people become, you know, defensive and will, again, you know, they'll defend themselves from the truth. That's the way that it's set up. It's perfect actually, but it's rather insidious.
Yeah. Do you think they could use a Mandela effect? I said this jokingly some time ago, but do you think they could use the Mandela effect to wipe the history of the globe and just start teaching and showing the flat Earth model, the description of the flat plane, and just not mention the globe anymore?
We do that ourselves.
Well,
I think that's what we are doing.
yeah, I think at the top levels they're aware of it, but you know, if even if someone figures it out, what are they going to do? Are they going to go to their higher up, or are they going to go to their peers and write a peer-reviewed paper that the Earth is flat and stationary? Even if they did, and perhaps it's happened more times than we know, such a thing would be rejected, and it would never go through the peer review process, because peer review only entails anymore. It's really quite antithetical to science, because it only...
You're about to go outside and get me some cereal.
Yeah, it only entails looking into things that is already accepted by mainstream science, when in fact peer review should be looking into dissenting opinions or challenging the mainstream accepted theories of the, you know, of the day or of science. But we just get a pile of shite instead.
I think hey, have any of you guys seen this electric flying car?
Yeah.
It's a small plane. It's got a turbine. You're cutting out, Dan. Let me turn your mic up.
Shout out to Madan. Yeah, the reason you don't understand it is because baller cosmology says that you can't understand it.
I feel horrible. Dude. My internet's like fucked, and I can't even get into the chat. Like I haven't looked at it at all night. So
they're calling you all kinds of names.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm watching. They're calling you really bad names. Watch out.
Yeah, really horrible names.
Oh yeah, I'm not even.
Who me?
No, I'm joking.
No, we're watching it.
No, so guys, okay, serious. Electric flying car, real bona fide flying thing. So I think when it gets to the point that we have these, this would be a different situation when people can just say, "Dude, this is electric. I'm running it on a Yildiz device or a Bedini or whatever, and I'm going that way," and just go, and people will go. That's what I think is going to happen.
Hey,
no traffic.
You guys want to hear something like really? Well, I thought it was really interesting, but I sort of stumbled across this the other day where I guess it's like an ancient Hindu sort of Swami yogi teaching or whatever. This is their scientific belief, because really yoga in a lot of ways is the study of the body and the study of the soul. And basically what they're saying is that when we breathe in, we're essentially harvesting prana, which is more or less electrically charged energy. And, this sounds like a load of hogwash to the conventionally minded Western scientists. But when you start to realize things like free energy devices, where Tesla is literally just gathering energy out of the ether, it makes a lot of sense that the air is electrically charged, the earth is electrically charged, and according to these sort of ancient beliefs, that because if you ask a modern doctor, where does our body's electric charge come from, because our brains have millions of synapses going on all the time, which is little electric impulses. Every time you move a muscle or think or anything, it's all electrical impulses. And so where does that electricity come from? And of course, mainstream science, they sort of have a half-ass answer that it's basically generated by the heart, more or less, but it really doesn't work. And when you look at the actual process that's going on in terms of respiratory action, we're not really absorbing all that much oxygen out of the air. Like if the air's say 17% oxygen, what we breathe out is about 15% oxygen. So we're not sucking up a whole lot of the oxygen out of the air. And it seems like it's totally possible that we're gathering this prana, or basically electrically charged air, or just pure energy from the ether itself, from the earth itself. And it makes a lot of sense that because frankly, modern science really doesn't have an explanation as to where our body's electricity comes from. We have a lot of theory about electricity, but even the most brilliant electrical engineer can't really tell you exactly what's going on with an electrical circuit. I mean, of course, the theory is that it's electrons moving, across and all that good stuff. But frankly, nobody's ever seen an atom. Nobody's ever seen an electron move through a circuit. So it's all very much theoretical. Of course, we can manipulate things, and we can manipulate electrical circuitry, but in terms of understanding exactly what is going on inside of that circuit, no, people really don't. But at the end of the day, it seems like we ourselves are free energy devices in a way, to where we're literally just sort of harvesting the energy or prana out of the air itself. So it's pretty interesting stuff and worth looking into.
What's it? What are these texts? The Indian texts. Are they?
There's a lot that are kind of hard to say, but one thing that's really interesting is just listening to some of the yogis speak. You can find them on YouTube. But in terms of the text, yeah, there's a lot that are hard to say.
I
Check out Muji.
I don't know if you've seen Eric Dubé's. He did a series of, I think it was 2 or 3 pretty short videos about basically about happiness, about being healthy, and about going for the kind of life you want to live. And he discussed breathing. He really went into breathing. I don't know if you've seen lately, some flat earth debunker has done a flat earth debunking of flat earthers just in general by not debunking anything at all. But one of the things he says is that Eric Dubé is a, what does he say? It's a demonic yoga practitioner.
Yeah.
Me and Chris Seeker were talking about that today.
Say again?
Me and Chris were talking about that today. How he's like so into yoga and like Tai Chi and all that stuff that's supposed to be like humbling you and making you as a more, I don't know how to say it, like a more spiritually person, and yet he has turned against everybody in the whole entire community that is playing for the same team that he's playing for, supposedly. Like I'm pretty sure y'all have heard my rants and raves and who I stand for and who I don't give a fuck if they're shills and who they're not. So, like,
well, all that I was going to say is he's not going against everybody. He's going to against a bunch of people, but not against everybody.
Have you seen his wall of shill?
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, you know, you totally made a good point. You know, the philosophies that he claims to represent wouldn't act that way.
You know what the topic of our conversation was, though? If Tim Osmond was to show up at the Flat Earth Conference, I hope the Morgile jumps his ass.
That guy, you know, he's been, oh man.
Have y'all read this?
Hopefully there won't be any violence necessary at the Flat Earth 2017.
There won't be any. But I was going to say, the guy that you just mentioned, I genuinely think if we don't say the guy's name, if we don't talk about
he told me that himself.
Silly stuff that he does,
he who cannot be named.
He'll go away. He'll go away.
Antonio, I think this is why all of them dudes are nice to me now. Tim, P. Mars, even David Quintana. I screenshotted that shit. He sent me an apology and everything.
They don't know what.
Huh?
They don't.
I don't believe it for 1 second. But what I'm saying is,
they're trying to make friends, so they have a port. You know, any storm in a port kind of idea. Well, you need ports. You know, if you're going to be going around, which is what they do, they need ports. So they use various different. They use themselves as ports. That's what they do.
Yeah, they have to make themselves seem friendly. It's one of the oldest tactics because, yeah, a lot of them get out of line and over the top and quite bratty, but then a lot of them will be like very cordial and polite and act like, you know, to be all your friend and just have little minor disagreements with you. But then when you totally prove them wrong on these minor disagreements, then they do the shilly thing and change the subject to something else and get a little bit more combative because, you know, that sort of facade of kindliness only goes so far with the troll. They're sort of easy to spot out once you've dealt with them enough.
And you have to think of what they're doing, Candy. You have to think what they're doing. What are they doing? Are they hosting hangouts where they're having panels of people talking about various different things? No. Are they making videos? Are they forging ahead, even if they're globelings? Are they forging ahead with debunking or any? No, are they? All they're doing is making sure they're in people's consciousnesses. Because
like, I don't know how much you know of what I did or like whatever, but a lot of people in here know me, like know me. And like, I'm not one to sit there and know somebody's talking shit about me and not stand up for myself. Like,
yeah.
I'm the nicest bitch you'll ever see. Like, I am the nicest person in the world until I have a reason not to be. And then you don't want to know me anymore. Like, I'm a fucking bitch. Like, I'm a Virgo. So once you betray me, that's it. There's no going back. There's no forgiving. That's it. Like, you're done. So these people, though.
We are anonymous. We do not forgive and we do not forget.
My son said they're a nuisance. Okay, so like,
Yes, they are.
It was so bad. Like, it was so bad that Tim yesterday, you know, I wanted to make sure he knew that I knew who he was. First of all, DQ, like a week ago. I said, hey, DQ, hey, Candy, I'm sorry that I've said some bad things about you, and I'm not going to troll you no more. I said, is that a fucking joke? And he said, no, and he said something else. I never acknowledged him again. Well, then yesterday, Tim Osmond was in Issa's chat, and I was in there. That's when Dan was on that radio thing. I was like, hey, Tim. He said, hey, Candy. Somebody who's in the flat earth community, and I don't remember who it is. It's not somebody I'm familiar with, but she knows who I am, apparently. She was like, oh, so y'all friends now? And I was like, what the fuck? Fuck no, I would never be friends with him. And he was like, no, she's just a cool ass chick. And I never interviewed any more into the conversation, but them two started going at it. And she was like, no, Tim, so now we have three sides of you, the dickhead, the asshole, and the nice guy. And then somebody else said, well, I like the nice Tim. Is he going to stick around? And to me, all I see is like, what the fuck is he planning?
Mm-hmm. It's head fuckery. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. It's a mind fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But have y'all read this?
No. I wouldn't mind reading it.
Let me tell you. Okay, I'm not one to do something like this. Okay, go ahead and get your laughs off. I was watching the Nostradamus 2012 thing. The
prediction.
The documentary. Well, then this guy came up. He was talking on the screen, right?
Right.
And it said Greg Braden, this guy right here.
Yeah.
And it said author on the bottom of the thing. It said author of Divine Matrix. And I don't know what it was. I still to this day, I don't do stuff like this. Like, I'm against ordering things like out the whim, you know? I'm a single mom. I don't have money like that. But some reason I saw this guy talking. And on the bottom of the screen, it said author of the Divine Matrix. And I ordered it right then and there in the middle of the documentary. I got on Amazon, ordered it right there. I read half of this book in one fucking day. Like, I need, like, I'll show you where my bookmark is. Like, I need to finish this bitch. See where my bookmark is? Halfway through. I read that in one day because I could not get enough of this shit. And you know what this book is? This is a quantum physics book. And this book describes basically that there's no empty space. There's no such thing as empty space. Empty space is non-existent. Everything is connected to everything. Kind of like, I know that some people can't relate to Jay Dreamers, but I do. And I probably wouldn't if I never read this. If I've never read this, I probably would think he was off the wall, psychotic, crazy, dumbass flat earther. But I read this, half of it, only half of it. And like, I just haven't found the time to read the other half. But this fucking book, this is a scientist, okay? Keep that in mind while I say this is a scientist who believes that the divine matrix, which connects everything to everything to everything to everything infinity, is God. The divine matrix, they cannot explain what it is. They don't know what it is. They never will know what it is. You know why? Because it's God.
Mm-hmm.
And scientists don't believe in God. So I swear, like, you could call me crazy, and I don't know, I can't see the chat, I don't know who's watching, but whoever can call me whatever they want to. But I know this book, some reason, made me order it. And then when I started reading it and realizing what it was about, and it made me open my eyes to so many things that I never even thought about before that time I read this. Like the page I was just putting on the screen with when somebody said something about the human heart, there's an electromagnetic field stretching out, I think, like 3 feet in circumference around the human heart. Do y'all know that?
It's more. It's much more. The brain is 3 feet. The heart is about 18.
Okay, I gotta see. Okay, here it is. Wow,
Well,
look, I just opened up.
It all depends on the person.
Just opened up.
Depends on the soul power, Antonio. If you got a good soul, it'll go about 18 to 25, maybe to even 55 feet.
I'd be highlighting shit. Like, I'm a weirdo. That's how I read the Bible, too. Because when I ever want to go back to this bitch, be like, there were some things that knocked my head in the knowledge sense. Guess what? It's all highlighted on every single page. Look. It's all highlighted.
Yeah, Candy, I have so many books that I buy from other people, and when I see that they have highlighted it, it's a treat, because I'm like, oh, thanks for picking out the important parts for me.
All right, well, before the Morgile just drops out like ODD just did, let me get my question out. Okay, so the other day when I was in your stream, and I said I'm not going to call in because I know I can talk to you anytime, but I have something I want to talk to you about. Did you see my messages when I said that?
I think I did. What's up?
Nah, you didn't, but it's okay.
So go on. What was your question?
Okay, so when somebody was on my panel the other day and they were like, they brought this to my attention, and I was like, this is a question that I have to bring to the Morgile because he's smart enough to answer it and I'm not. So, okay, this was a flat earther, mind you, playing devil's advocate, because like me, I'm going to bring this to you because I'm not, just because it kind of not proves, but kind of would, if it was theoretically possible, be more leaning towards the heliocentric model than the geocentric model. Okay, so think about this.
Okay.
If water was the negative charge and the Earth was a positive charge, it would curve the water to stay on the globe.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've been thinking a lot like if science was going to stick with the heliocentric theory, I would have thought that they would have brought magnetism into it in a lot of different areas. Like one big area would be orbital mechanics, because in magnetism you have the conditions where you can have repulsion and attraction, which is the only way certain orbital situations work. So they haven't brought in magnetism in that regard because they've got to have gravity for the rest of their shenanigans. Now, in terms of the water being a different charge than the Earth itself, I think that the evidence for the Earth being spherical is lacking anyway. So I'm not sure if he's talking about a spherical Earth with water being attached, but the curvature just isn't there. So it's sort of a moot point if that's what he's saying.
Well, if water was negatively charged, then it would tend towards the alkaline range.
So we're talking a flat Earth scenario, or a
no? I think Andy was saying that this
scenario, like what would it mean to the heliocentric or the geocentric model if the Earth was a positive charge and water was a negative charge? What would it mean?
Well, I mean, for assuming a heliocentric model, if the axial rotation and orbital motion that was going on with the Earth was actually happening, you'd see just tremendous, huge, astronomically unfathomable waves in the oceans just due to the inertia of large bodies of water. You know, just slosh your bathtub around a bit and it'll do all sorts of wild things if it's full of water. If you can imagine entire seas spinning, you know, around an inverse square curve, I don't care if they're magnetically or gravitically attached to the Earth, it's going to cause just major waves as a constant non-variable thing, and we just don't see that. So the idea of a spinning Earth is just really not even worth considering. Now, in terms of a flat Earth model, you know, I guess the big question is, well, okay, what goes up must come down. That's definitely a thing that nobody's arguing, but what causes that? Well, the short answer is, of course, density and buoyancy, and that sort of explains it, but it sort of doesn't, because you still need a downward tendency in order for higher density objects to find their place of rest at a lower point. So in other words, you have to have a difference between up and down. And what that difference is just merely a nudge, a slight nudge that causes higher density objects to fall. And of course, you can call that gravity, but what it appears to be is just the electrostatic charge of the Earth itself. And so you've got density and buoyancy causing all the gases and liquids to find their place of rest in a natural sort of sense. So, you know, you've got the troposphere, which is right above the water level. And of course, below the water level, you've got liquid water. And as you gain in altitude, you get different layers of varying gases and different density gases and particulates. But that's just the natural order of things. And so, you know, whether the water has a positive or a negative charge, I think is irrelevant, because a static electric charge is always an attractive force. So it wouldn't matter if the water was positively or negatively charged in order to be attracted by the essentially capacitor plate Earth by its static electric charge.
Also, the charge of the Earth would have to be caused by something, and we could say maybe that something would be spin, or the vibration at which the molecules within the Earth are vibrating at a different rate towards the equator versus at the poles, because there's larger spin. So that would mean it would be pulling, if we're talking this magnetic, electromagnetic pull, then the oceans would even more be centered around the equator, as it being a fluid on a solid object that's spinning. So the highest point of positive charge would be at the equator, and this is where the water would be pulled to, you know, separate from the spin. Then add to that the spin, we shouldn't have a Sahara or a Central America. All of that region would be water, which is not what we have. We have much more water to the south and water in the north that shouldn't be there at all if this place was spinning.
Mm-hmm. I have in my notes that gravity is dielectric voidance. Attraction equals dielectric voidance, and gravity equals dielectric voidance. And dielectric attracts another dielectric.
So it's just sort of, they're interpreting something from a terrestrial point, and then they're projecting this. So you have real phenomena in the Earth, they've interpreted it, and then they've projected their interpretation out into space and said that the out there of space explains the thing they've interpreted from the real phenomena. That's what they've done. So they've just misinterpreted the phenomena. That's all it is. They thought
it's theoretical masturbation is what it is.
It is, totally. And it's magical and so wonderful. And if you believe it, you know, it's laughable. It is really laughable. And what I think is galling is that the people who seem to be the most adamantly against the flat Earth are also those that are the least educated or the least knowledgeable about all of the things that are supposed to be happening on the spinning Earth through the spinning universe. They're just completely ignorant of it. So when you point something out to them that destroys their model, they're not familiar with it. They don't know that it destroys their model.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
I was planning on doing a, debunking a debunker video a couple weeks ago, and I just had to stop because it was just the same old things. That there's no new arguments coming up for the globe. It's always the same old stuff from Christopher Columbus and the ships at sea to I don't know. Yeah, just pick one. It's getting late here, but you know the ones. And it's just ridiculous that you can make 10 videos debunking all of those claims 5 different ways, and still people are going to make new videos claiming that just basically claiming ignorance on the whole thing. And
well, the whole Christopher Columbus, this is I love to shut that down because he left from Spain. This is where Christopher Columbus left from. Okay. He's flying to India the other way around. That's what the story is. Okay, why didn't he land in New York? He's not gonna, if he's going round the other way, he's gonna avoid the UK and Greenland, sure, but he's not gonna veer off south. Why would he be veering off south and end up in the freaking Caribbean? Why would that be where he ends up?
Well, what's interesting is that Columbus disagreed with, I think it was Eratosthenes' value of a 25,000 mile circumference Earth, and whether it was because he thought he was taking advantage of higher longitudes to, so like if you're at a higher longitude, then a westbound trajectory is going to be a shorter arc, right? So anyway, he disagreed with Eratosthenes' value and thought that the sphere that he was traveling on was smaller than it actually is, allegedly. And so, yeah, of course, he was looking for Japan, and so I could see him maybe veering south, thinking that he would find the major coasts, but instead of the islands. I don't know though. It is kind of weird though. You'd think that he'd make the shortest, or he'd find the shortest route. But when you get into like the Bermuda Triangle in that area southeast of Florida, I think that there's some shenanigans going on with the maps, as well as other areas on the alleged globe.
Yeah, there is. There definitely is. But with sailors, they typically they'll sail so that they're not too far away from the nearest land. That's just how they sail. If you look at any of the trading routes of the ship lanes, they skirt the coastlines. That's how they travel. So he would go as a sailor. He would veer west, knowing that the UK is to the north, and past that, the Greenland, Iceland and Greenland are to the north. He would know this. He wouldn't veer off down away from this into the nothingness of the ocean, which as far as he knows is just nothingness, and just coincidentally land where the people really treasure gold, where gold and silver is part of their life, having avoided the people in the north that couldn't care less for gold and silver. I think there's communication between the people in the north in Europe and the south, and the Vikings will have said, yeah, there's people over there. If you get to Greenland and you carry on, you get to another land, there's people there. They wear fur and they live with the animals. Do they use gold? No. But they've told us that the people in the south, they use a hell of a lot of gold. That's it. That's the story. That sounds a lot more legitimate than, I'm going to see if I can get to that place. We're going this totally other way. so I'm going to veer south. It doesn't make any sense at all. He should have landed, if anything, in New York, around New York.
Well, there's a good theory that the Queen or whatever that commissioned him to do that whole trade route expedition possibly had foreknowledge of this whole other continent, or at least some ancient Mayan civilization, because it really more and more appears like there was a worldwide civilization that consisted of everything from where you've got pyramids in Egypt, and then like Mayan stuff and Machu Picchu and stuff, Sumeria, and apparently in the Grand Canyon. I mean, China, Russia, I mean, everywhere, all over the world, it seems like you had this ancient worldwide society that was trading with one another. And if this sort of ancient occult, hidden knowledge was passed through royal bloodlines, then it makes a lot of sense that Columbus would try to find that the Mayan civilization, where that's basically pretty close to where he wound up. I mean, I guess it was the Bahamas, but you're pretty darn close to Central America when you're right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Want to see a cool shirt?
Yeah.
Alert.
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
Cool shirt alert.
Well, listen, y'all, it has been real. It has been fun. It's almost 2 in the morning here, so I'm gonna get some sleep. But it was awesome hanging with you guys. Love y'all, and I'll be sure to hang out with you guys again soon.
Hey, John, before you go, when you sleep, do you turn off all your Wi-Fi in the home?
Yeah, I try to. Sometimes I get lazy, but yeah, I sleep a lot better when I do.
All right. It's just that one of the studies that was done into it is that it does interfere with your dreams, that it stops your brain getting to the state where you visualize.
I know. You know, it's the worst. I've got a digital meter that's literally like 3 feet from my head where I'm sleeping. Like my bedroom is like, the meter is right outside of it, and those the digital meters are connected on a network to all the other meters in the vicinity. And so there's like really no studies that have been done like how that affects somebody, because like the so-called safe levels of radio frequency radiation are like so like ridiculous, but it's only been studied in like single cases. But when you've got a whole network of these things like all around you, the amount of radiation like exponentially grows. And so yeah, I think that may have a lot to do with it, even if I do shut down all my Wi-Fi and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe you get some shungite.
Yeah, I use shungite. Once I got some shungite, I started dreaming again.
Can you see, John?
Yeah.
It's Karen's holding
a shungite pyramid.
It doesn't have to be a pyramid, but the pyramid kind of works.
I have a necklace of it too, and I have a piece on my cell phone.
And what it does is,
it kind of works the same way, Dan. It works the same way, and you put it between you and whatever the source of the EMF waves or whatever. You put it between you and whatever it is while you're sleeping. And the pyramids, if you order the pyramids, it gives you a radius like of how much space they clear.
Do you know how it clears?
It's got like it's 30% carbon, and it's got a charge to it. It's got its own electrical charge. So somehow the charge that this puts out cancels out the charge of the EMF wave, or something like that.
It kind of
explaining that very well.
It kind of piggybacks. It's like a feedback on the radiation, and on the feedback, it organizes the peaks, the spin of the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of, it's not so much the radiation itself that causes the harm, it's the data that's carried within the radiation. So what it does is it straightens out the radiation and the data, the relationship. The one way to think of it is, if you think of a clothesline on a winding wheel, okay, if that clothesline has got evenly spaced out socks, you could wind it, and as the socks arrive, unpeg each one and it will be fine. But if on the clothesline you've got an area where you've got a whole bunch of socks bunched up together, so this would be data that's crossing over on the radiation, okay? When it arrives at the wheel, you don't have time to take each one off, okay? So this is what happens as it goes through the cells of the body, is the information, the data can go through with the radiation without causing much harm. But if the data is disorganized because the wavelengths are meshing and, you know, switching back and forth, then the vibration to the cells causes damage, and this is what goes on to create the problems that we have. So what the shungite does is the equivalent to spacing out the data as single socks across the wavelength. I hope that made sense. And that's an easy remedy, John.
And also clear quartz crystals.
So like what you just like
the shungite. You just get a shungite pyramid, or it doesn't have to be a pyramid. But
what do you do with it?
You just set it on your night table next to where you sleep, and if you have like a cell phone or something you keep next to you, put this in between you and the cell phone. Put it next to your head.
Well, it will give a radius of. It will have an effect on a radius to it.
Yeah, it depends how big the pyramid is. The bigger the pyramid, the bigger the radius.
So yeah, is it like fungi, like with an sh, like shungai?
It's shungite.
Shungite. Okay.
And if you had it on your bedside table, I'm sure it would cover the head area for you and your wife, you know, regardless of the meter being 3 feet away.
Yep. I got a giant pyramid. I mean, I got one probably twice this size. I put in the room that has the Wi-Fi box in it. And then I got these for our bedside tables, and I got one on my computer desk.
Yeah, I'm willing to try anything, because like I haven't really had them too bad here, but like sometimes I'll even get it hasn't been, it's been a while, but sometimes I'll get like heart palpitations. And it was always when I was because another house that I was in had a digital smart meter, and of course I had Wi-Fi and everything running, but it would always, like whenever I'd go to lay down to go to sleep, you know, my heart would start beating like really irregularly. And when we moved out of there, it totally stopped, and we had an analog meter. So I sort of deduced that, you know, that probably had something to do with it. And when I looked into it, you know, it comes to find out that there was a lot of people in California that were really sort of anti-smart meters because of the way that the things network with certain frequency, you know, certain radio frequency waves across entire neighborhoods, where, you know, you've got these invisible RF waves running through your body at all times. And when you've got, you know, 10 or 20 or 30 of them that are compounding one another, it, you know, there's never been studies done in terms of what exactly does that do to your DNA or, you know, other physiological responses. Who knows?
Yeah, and if you looked at the closest you can arrive at in terms of any studies, you're looking at, what's it called, the island in New York, there's a, oh damn it, what's it called, there's an island where there were all kinds,
I was going to say Staten Island.
No, it's there was a complex where all kinds of experiments were conducted by the US Air Force, US Navy. Dark World. I can't remember. If I remember, I'll let you know. There are all kinds of studies. Damn it! It's a don't know. Anyway,
Montauk Project.
Montauk. Yes, Montauk. They did studies on homeless men and children. Well, first they did studies on soldiers, and then they quickly stopped. And then it was homeless men, and then it was children and boys, specifically boys, to test the various effects of microwave frequencies. Was one of the studies. So, but obviously they didn't release this because then they'd be owning up to having done the trials in the first place. So, but yeah, there's a British guy, former Navy guy, who's done a lot of research into this. I'll find a good documentary by him and pass it to you on Skype at some point, okay?
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, crapola guys. I'm gonna hit the hay, but it was awesome hanging with you, and I'm sure we'll do it again. It was good meeting you guys and good seeing some familiar faces. And thanks everyone for hanging in the chat. I'll holler at y'all later.
Good night.
All right. Yes. Peace. Right, I'm buying a Shungite pyramid.
I wear a Shungite necklace. I always have that stuff on me.
I've been meaning to for ages, but right now I've actually managed to follow through and I'm there. I want to see what the radius is that it will cover.
You're closer to Russia too, so it shouldn't be as much for shipping for you. Man, I was buying Shungite and like I put a bunch of stuff in the shopping cart and then I'd say, okay, check out. And then you have to calculate shipping. And it was like, I had to keep, adding stuff and taking stuff away so that the amount I had to pay for shipping was worth what I was buying. Cause I wanted real Shungite from Russia. Like, the shipping, I forget how much the shipping was, but, there was one thing I had in there, like I added like just a raw stone of Shungite that I wanted to get, and it made the shipping go up like $30. And I was like, oh, I'll just take that back off.
Wow.
But I'm all the way in the US, so it's probably more for me because it's overseas, but I don't know.
Well, it's $35 for a 3-inch one. So that's not bad at all for UK when you convert it into UK. No, I will buy several small ones. That's what I'll do.
Or they also have the tall pyramids, like they're the ones that are like have a smaller base and they're taller. And those I think those even have like a wider range for their size than the traditional pyramid size does, if I remember right.
Right, because the traditional size is the Giza pyramid.
Yeah, it's like what you think of when you're thinking of pyramid. And then I have another one that's it's like tall and pointy.
Yeah,
looks like a weapon.
Right, I'm gonna buy 2 of these. I bet this is fun for people hearing me buying something on Amazon.
What's Dan doing? Did Dan fall asleep? Where's Candy? Where's Ace? Where'd everybody go? Oh, Antonio just dropped. Hello?
No, I'm not asleep. I'm just texting.
Okay. Ace has been quiet for a long time. Maybe Ace fell asleep.
I dropped. Listen, guys, I'm going to go too, and I'm going to listen to Dan's debate, radio debate. So Have fun, everyone. Candy, Ace, Dan.
I was just trying to get a hold of Candy and Ace, and they're not responding.
All right. I'm gonna get out of here too, guys. See you later, Antonio and Karen and Candy.
Should we just close it down? Can you close it, Antonio? I mean, she's not answering.
Yeah, I'll close it. Otherwise, it will just be dead air. Okay, so I'm going to close it. I hope it's okay with Candy. I'll send her a message on Skype. Karen and Dan, see you later.
Good night.
Good night, man.
Bye.
Good night, Karen. I'm going to go to bed too.
Yeah, me too.
It was nice talking. Good night, Candy and Ace.
Hello. I think everybody fell asleep a couple of minutes ago, or maybe 30 minutes ago, maybe an hour ago. Oh, echo. So I was doing something, and then when I came back, I saw that Kenny fell asleep, Ace fell asleep. That's not a real big problem, but well, I heard Antonio for the last time saying, I'm gonna shut it down, otherwise it will only be dead air, and he would send her a private message on Skype. Well, Candy, Ace, come on. I will end this. And let you later know that you've been sniped, but not really sniped, but just stop the hangout. And yeah, here we go. Everybody say goodbye. It's over. And you will see the next 5 minute Ace face. Bye bye.